I'm sure we could get a whole famous list.
I'm sure we could. So Aminah, I wanted to tell you, I thought last week's show was really informational about declawing cats, myths, facts, etc. I really enjoyed it.
I'm glad, because, people do things. I honestly believe we mean well, most of us, and we do things out of ignorance. And when we're not given the chance, and that is what these platforms are so important. As I did one directly on YouTube. It was the first time in a long time that I just recorded something straight through an hour and no editing. And I didn't do it live. I planned to edit it, but it was about saving lives and don't feed wildlife and why. And people go, oh, I didn't know that. And I said, I know. So, I'm not going to beat you over your head and said, you idiots, why don't you know that? Because we don't know what we don't know. So
true.
Cutting off toes is not a good thing. There's so many ways to teach an animal to behave or respect the furniture and that kind of stuff. We just don't know. And sadly, I've worked with these animals, actually mountain lions mostly, and tigers that were declawed. And if you think about a paw that's 10 inches across and 10 inches down, and they're flopping around and they just can't walk, it's so, so painful. Because I'm talking about an animal that's now in care, and it's probably 20 or 30 years old. So it's had that problem all its life. So anybody who has arthritis in their hands or toes or any like that chronic pain, you can imagine. I don't have arthritis, but you could imagine what this is like to walk on.
I had arthritis in my hands for 3 months. It was the weirdest thing. It was I couldn't even touch it. The pain was just beyond. So I can relate to that.
Yeah. So I wanted flopping your paws around.
Yeah, that wouldn't be pretty. And you have a great guest you brought, and she's up very, very early. But before we bring her out, I just want to let you know I was thinking about you the other day. I went for a walk after work, and there were all of these butterflies. I think they were monarch butterflies. They were all the same color.
Orange and black.
Orange and black. And one started flying around me and then came close to my arm. And I was really afraid. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I just took a deep breath.
Leave some dust on your sleeve?
I don't know, or turn into a caterpillar the other way around. But anyway, I just thought about you, and I thought how beautiful it was, and just let it do its thing. It's not going to hurt me.
And you know what? Next time I would encourage everybody, and you specifically, is to understand if a butterfly feels comfortable coming that close to a carnivore, which is what we are, they can tell the difference, then you're putting out energy of calm and peace. Even though you're anxious or you're a little concerned, you're like, what the heck are you doing? I want to turn it into what it really is. And that's a blessing of saying, somebody feels so comfortable that even the insects are willing to land on me because they find that I'm a safe place to rest. Because you touch their wings and you could kill them because you take off that it's a powder that their wings are created with, and so you don't want to touch all that kind of stuff. But obviously felt he or she, because you wouldn't tell me if he had little dots on the backside, and that would be a boy and that would be a girl. But I know I'm teaching you little by little, but just think about it that way. Now mosquitoes, I don't care how much they love me. I'm not letting them land. That's different because they bite. Monarchs do not. Just don't eat them or the flowers. They're kind of poisonous. It's the point of the color.
Makes good sense. Wonderful. So why don't you share a little bit about our guest for today? I can't wait to get her out here.
Yeah, we're going to do this really fast and dirty. Carla and I have networked together, and it was great to find her. As Jacalyn knows, we've been doing this for a while now, so I've got hooks out everywhere and saying, you know what, I want to hear from you. I want to celebrate you. So if you have a special gift, book you've written or something, reach out, bridgingworlds.us. There's a banner on the bottom. You can just email me. And Carla is coming from all these wonderful, wonderful connections in LinkedIn and everywhere. So she has written a pet-friendly accommodations book. And she's going to tell you if it's a series. These are all my questions because I make sure that I don't find out a great deal of details about everybody because I want to be with you asking really great questions I think you guys would want to know. So let's get Carla out and talk about how do we travel with our pets, because I would love to do that. Now my cats would hate it, but I would love to do that.
And before we bring her out, I want to let you know this is our episode number 38.
Wow.
of this show.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing. Wait till we get to
Yes.
100. We're going to have
Woo!
like confetti going out around, and maybe that girl will come and sing those songs and I can dance.
Yes, we'll work on it. All right, let's bring on Carla J Francis to join us. Welcome, Carla.
Yes,
Hey.
hi.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks again for getting up. Everybody should appreciate this. Is like 6:30 in Australia AM.
AM.
So she's being really respectful with her household and having earbuds and all that type of stuff. So we're just thrilled. I really honor you for coming, but I loved your book, love where you're taking and things, and I want to know more about traveling.
Okay.
With my pet.
So I'm the author of 2 pet travel related books. The first one was first published in 2012, and that was the first edition. And we are now on the 5th edition, and that came out last year. And we update it probably about every year and a half. And it's now got doggy places that you can go sightseeing with your pet, where you can stop off en route on your travels. Pet-friendly cafes, wineries, all types of things. So it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And my second book is called The Cat with 3 Passports. And it's about my experience of living in Japan and rescuing the cat and bringing him to Australia.
Wow, well.
That's so
Do you
cool.
have an audio yet? Because that's what I need. I can't hold a book anymore because I injured my hands. But do you have it on audio yet?
Not yet. Ebook though. Yeah.
Okay, that will be great because oh my gosh! And my daughter actually is stuck in Spain. We use air quotes now with stuck because she got married.
Okay.
So stuck in Spain has turned into a really great experience.
Yeah, I bet it has.
Yeah, for pandemic, and we love our new son-in-law. He's just amazing, and his family was just stunning because she did get sick and had to have surgery while she was there.
Oh,
so
wow.
his mother stepped in and took my place, and I honor her every day. But that's what she's there with a pet. Let me get to the relevant part. She's there with her Bichon Frise. She was doing she just finished her license in clinical therapy. Couples therapy is the better word. And so he's a working dog. So she wanted him to have that experience. As you know, where was your book? She had to do all that research. What you're talking about, we had to study Croatia. She was in last right when pandemic closed and came back to Spain to the young man she's now married to. And because, now she's been there 2 years. And all of those things, it was really great. When she was in France, the puppy ran off to chase another dog, and everybody in the dog park helped her corral him. But those are the things you need to know. Where is it safe? Where is it okay? How do the airports want you to travel? Oh my gosh, all the vaccines.
Yeah.
Every vaccine on the planet. So this is what I'm hoping. Did you cover all that in the books?
For the this book, the Traveling with Pets one, because it's international and a lot of it is about the process of bringing pets internationally. Yes, I definitely covered that because in Japan you can only do it through a government recognized vet. So luckily they all were there, but I didn't know that at the time.
Exactly.
So I was ringing around saying, and getting my friends to ring around because I couldn't speak the language that well. Are you a government recognized vet? And then I eventually found out that yes, they all are in Japan. So that was quite stressful. But yeah, and then you have to send the blood samples off to another country and get them back. And so you had to wait 6 months at the time for that whole process to happen, which was kind of, you're saying getting the blood results going to be okay. Can we all go back? And it's kind of stressful traveling internationally with pets, but I would do it again, definitely in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Have they gotten better about under the plane? Because when I was first working with animals, I've always worked with animals, but if you go back to when we were kids, 70s, 80s, whatever, and even now, my fear is there were just so many deaths. There were so many deaths with animals in cages, and Dr. Jacalyn, I hope you never experienced that with your guys when they were alive, but it was heat, it was water, it was bare minimum anyways,
It's traumatizing, I think.
it's everybody. You get off your plane, you finally are home, you had the vacation of America, a land or visit family, and then they say, oh, sorry, we killed him. And it's like, there's no money for that. I don't care if you give him $1 billion. That doesn't bring your pet back. And these are even more now. That's why, Carla, your book is so timely, is because we all are choosing, which my children have, chosen pets over children.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to do any diapers.
Carla, I'm wondering what tips can you share with our audience for traveling? I think that, there's so many things we need to know.
Well, I was at the vet actually last week for my pet's checkup, and the lady vet, offered some very useful advice. And she said that she would never sign off on a pet traveling internationally if it was one of the snub-nosed breeds, so a pug or Boston Terrier, because they really don't travel well because they have difficulties breathing. So I always wanted a Boston Terrier, but after she told me that, I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be living maybe in the next 10 years. And I'd always want to take my pets with me. So that ruled that breed out straight away for me. But in terms of tips of traveling with your pet, I guess internationally, you have to be really, really prepared because every document has to be in order. And if you miss something, then it could set you back and you might miss your flight. You could be delayed. So just make sure everything, I think I started planning probably a year in advance to make sure I was checking off everything on the checklist. Also, the other tip was find out which airline will have less time waiting at the airport. So we used Qantas for Australia because when you arrive in Australia, Qantas has more direct access to the cargo hold, so you can get your pet off of the airline easier and quicker, as opposed to traveling with one of the Japanese airlines. I think JAL or ANA were a possibility at the time, but that would have taken longer at the other end, and of course the pet is going to be more tired. So yeah, that would be definitely one of the tips to consider. You can also buy liners for the pet in case they have to, accident with toilets, so that keeps their cage nice and clean and dry. And you can put on like the rabbit bottles on the side so they can drink and stay hydrated during the flight. And the last tip would be also to invest in a good calming spray. So yeah, you can spray their bedding and it just keeps them a little bit more calm when they're hearing the troubling noises. So yeah, they're my main tips, I would say.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carla. I wanted to ask a question. They're really good tips. When I had my dogs and we would travel, there were only two. This was an American. I think you can only have two pets inside the cabin. Has that changed?
No, that's still the same as far as I'm aware. And that's domestic as well as international. Yeah.
So if you're going to go, let's say you're going to go from Philadelphia International Airport and you're going to go to Sydney, that's how many flights? And the dog, if you don't get one of those two coveted spots, then the dog is underneath in the cargo section for the whole time, right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and internationally, if you're arriving into Australia, they all have to go in the cargo. I think it's only Air France internationally that you can take your pet, and maybe KLM, that you can take your pet actually in the flight, on the flight with you. All of the others must go in the cargo, which is a real shame. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And as far as I know, Carla, and this is a question, I haven't heard anything. Now, I'm not surfing the web for it. That's why we bring people on like you have written and researched this, is because everybody's like, have you read that? I can't read everything. I can read highlights, but I can't read it all. I don't see that they've changed much since the 70s and 80s when we really started. I want to say around the 80s, we really saw a lot of death, especially to dehydration and heat. And they go hand in hand. You can have a bowl of water, you can have a whole thing of water, as you talked about, a bottle of water, and the pet either doesn't partake of it or it's so hot. It doesn't matter how much water you're using. I grew up in the desert. I know it gets really hot, and in your place too. Water is essential to just getting by through that heat wave. Have they changed? Have the planes gotten better? I know the vaccines have gotten better, but what about the travel?
Well, I think I haven't heard of too many incidents recently. And I think they do regulate the temperature in the cargo hold now. But I remember being led to believe that they go down and check on your pets, the crew. And then when I was on the flight, and I said, "Oh, can you make sure my pet's okay?" And she was like, "Oh, we don't go down there." And I was, already an hour into the flight, and then I spent the next 12 hours, kind of, oh my God,
sweating.
Sweating. So, in terms of that, it hasn't changed that much, no. But I know that they now regulate the temperature, and because there have been incidents, I think they might have picked up their game. I hope. But again, the things I've heard has been more breed related, as I said before. It's been the like the pugs and the Boston Terriers that have had issues more recently. Yeah.
Well, and I think the tipping point, Jacalyn, I think you'll find this sadly interesting, as I hope everybody does. I think where we saw the change was when people started shipping purebreds, and they were spending all that money, and whoever was getting them were spending a lot of money. So we're talking about people who were rich, and they made a squeak. Oh my God, my dog died. Oh my God, my dog is mentally incapable. I mean, think about it. If you've gone through heat stroke and your brain gets too hot, you end up with all kinds of medical issues probably, and we'll get a doctor for that one. But I will bet you that sadly, nobody took the animal's life into consideration until somebody rich said, you can't do that to my animal. And it happened 3 or 4 times coming through the U.S. And I remember that in the late 80s and going, really? Now we're going to do something? Because somebody rich complained? But it seems to happen.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Carla.
I was just going to say that there was a rumor, it was a story a couple of years ago, where Johnny Depp arrived in Australia with his 2 pet dogs, but they all flew on a private jet. So they kind of skipped all of the immigration rules that we would usually have to endure. So I guess they would travel, with the people. They wouldn't go in the cargo hold if they're on a private jet. So yeah, lucky them.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I can't afford that. Can you? That's what I have for your book. It's like,
I remember I was traveling to Florida. I think I was moving there, and I had my 3 dogs. And of course I have to get their picture. Aminah's seen them many times before, but
they're adorable.
Little sweethearts. And by the time we landed, because you know how hot it is in Florida, and they were just sitting out there, they were not well at all. In fact, I had to take 2 of them to the vet. One of them almost died. It was a horrible experience, and I couldn't do it again. It was just
nope. Yeah. It's like playing a crapshoot game. I don't gamble, so I just know what it must feel like. That you throw the dice and go, let's see what happens. I can't do that with a life, and the 3 of us can't do that with a life. And that's the problem, is that in the 60s and 70s it was annoying, but now people are choosing pets as children. And
well, do you think a lot of this has to do with the fact that also why so many people are getting their dogs certified as support pets, if that's the right terminology?
Oh yeah. If you can bring a mini horse into a plane, come on, we all saw that 2 years ago, right? A year ago, whatever. It seems like forever. Maybe it was 6 months ago. But somebody brought, because they were registered as their therapy, and then they finally called the plane, whatever, airline got together and said, no, we're not doing that again. Could you imagine if he had 1 potty break?
I was just thinking about that. I don't know why do our minds go right there?
It would have been fine. It's a herbivore, people. It doesn't smell that bad. But the urine, oh my gosh. It is splashed on everybody within 5 feet, back and forth.
And where would he go? Like in the aisle?
Yeah, they did. They put in, I think, if the old memories is like, they put them in the handicap, in the front of the plane, so you have a little room to put, because I've seen people put babies there with little bassinets or something like that, and then hold them later, like landing and that kind of stuff. But I saw a picture of it, and I'm thinking, what?
How did I miss that? I'm going to go.
Amazing animals.
I didn't see that.
Great, it's a support animal. I'm not sure how potty trained they are for the 5 or 6 hour flight.
Maybe they wear
my-
nappies or diapers.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you go. And they
that's a
have
good idea.
horses. You see the buggies that, cart and horses. I don't know if they do this in Australia, but in England and everywhere. And they have a little bag, under there. So
Yes.
they don't have somebody following your, but come on. Now I understand. I do. I love snakes. I love tarantulas. I don't think I'm going to carry one on the plane, so I'm supported.
If you do, please let me know so I'm not on that flight. That's all I'm saying.
That's okay.
Yeah, me too.
I will be invited to do that, and I'll keep the tarantula on my shoulder because I absolutely love this. I put a hissing Madagascar hissing cockroach on my shoulder for a whole show. I was teaching kids about bugs. And one little kid said, "Can I touch it?" And I said, "Yes, just be really gentle." And gentle was, and the hissing cockroach. I didn't know what the hiss sounded like because I hadn't tried it. And he went, and we all went, "Well, now we know what it sounds like." But
Oh my goodness.
imagine somebody with the tarantula and then the lizard. This is where we're heading, crazy people. Okay, we know this. We know this. Did you not watch any of those movies? The plane crashes, everybody runs away.
And guess what? I know we're having so much fun. We have to take a break, though. And we're going to watch 2 clips. The first one, I want to thank Ian Pelham Turner and Helena Shard from the UK for providing it. It's the Royal Artillery Holcomb Beach video. And then also from the UK, Sir Tony Moore singing Route 66. We'll be right back after this. welcome back to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads, coming in January 2022. And hello to our friends on Business Talk Radio. You are watching or listening to Pet Psychic Aminah and our guest, author Carla J Francis. Carla, you were sharing a little bit about your books, Traveling with Pets, and The Cat with Three Passports. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I just absolutely love that. And so I think we want to leave our audience with some additional tips. Anything you can think of about things people know, they need to know about traveling with pets?
Well, if you need to know anything else, I'm also on a panel of pet experts for a pet app called Pet Forever. And it gives advice. So there's vets there. It gives tips, product reviews as well. So you can sign up to that and have direct contact with a panel of experts. Other things to include, as I said before, is definitely be prepared. Speak to your vet to get expert advice about whether your pet is fit to travel. Just don't assume that they can, because obviously there might be age can be a factor as well. And definitely invest in some good calming product for your pet before you travel. I was under the impression that you could maybe tranquilize them or give them a sedative before you travel, but you're not allowed to, because they could fall asleep and maybe suffocate on the blankets. So it's better to get like a herbal spray or a pheromone spray and spray it on their blankets. It's a much safer way to do it.
Thank you. Carla, a question I have is, should you feed your pet? What's the idea? Feed them before they get on the plane? Maybe they're going to be on the plane for all those hours, or not feed them and then they won't have to go to the bathroom. I don't know. Any thoughts there?
A very light meal, not heavy. Yeah, because obviously they can't go to the bathroom, and so light food is best.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Amin, a question for you, and then Carla and I can jump in. So what are your thoughts about feeding dogs fish and other people food?
It's the oils, of course, are renowned and really great for all our skin, hair, all that type of stuff. Where you have to go with fish is you have to debone it. The bones are lethal. Bones for dogs, unless you're going to do cattle, and I'm talking about really big femurs, really big all that, because it's really the marrow is highly nutritious and really good for them, and they really got to work to get down to it and that type of stuff. So depending on if you have a bull mastiff, go out and find a cattle farm or somewhere and get him a leg, and it's great. It's something they naturally do. And that kind of stuff. What's really nice is, and Carla, of course, please jump in anywhere that you've heard of that. But I know with the animal owners I'm doing that want to do it more natural and that type of stuff, not kill anybody or dealing with animals that have been butchered or whatever. And they are using pig's ears. And now they're still butchered and that kind of stuff, but they take a long time. I understand. I have not tried them. Let me little caveat about it. I have not tried the ears. I have tried milk bone dog biscuits, but that's for another story.
I did buy, talking of pig ears, I did buy my friend that's a vegan pig ears.
Oh, there you go.
For her dog, Christmas last year.
And they have it. It's a lot. My daughter's in Spain is vegan, and I have her cat, which I is my cat. So, and we do that with her, and it can be happening, but you got to keep with a vet. You got to keep up with the minerals and that kind of stuff. The marrow's very good, but you have to understand what dog you're talking about. Cats are not really into bones. That's not their thing. Chicken bones, absolutely no. I can't emphasize that enough. The wishbone, that we all say from the turkey or whatever, turkeys are too small. Any in the fowl, no. Think of the fowl word as no, stop, don't do this. Anybody in sports. The bigger animals, the dogs can handle, but rawhide, please don't do that. It's gum. It's just gum. When they chew rawhide, it becomes a gum in the stomach, and you can get to the point where if they're doing it a lot, then they're either having a dental issue, and it's great. It's buffery and all that. But rawhide is just terrible. It's terrible stuff. That's why they're being able to move away and do pigskin deer, and that kind of stuff. Things that are being butchered already in the meat, and you can use those types of things. It's great if you can get a really big steak bone, something like a steer, and you get a little bit of that marrow inside. Oh, highly nutritious, great for the teeth. But again, one every 6 months or something.
Not every day.
Not every day.
Carla?
I have a question. At an animal rescue shelter I used to volunteer at, we used to feed the cats chicken necks, which I'd never heard of before, but they said that the cats used to love them. Do you think that's a good idea?
No, because have you ever broken a turkey? Let's go with a turkey. It's even bigger because we've all had those with Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Birds have hollow bones because they fly. This is the point, is it's aerodynamic. You do not want to give a carnivore who has really great teeth, because that's what they do. And cats specifically are considered in the science, I always go back to origin, as strictly carnivores. Now, we've done all kinds of things to it, but they are created by God as strictly a carnivore. Birds, they will eat, if you watch an animal eat a wild animal, they will eat all the heart, the lungs, all the vital organs are so nutritious. And then they'll go with the meats and all that kind of stuff, get rid of the fur, all that kind of stuff. But they will not chew on the small toes bones and bird legs. If you've ever seen a dead bird and it's eaten, the legs are still there, the beak is still there, the skull is still there. There's a reason. It's too dangerous to eat, and it's not enough nutrition. If they get a piece stuck in their gums, we don't see it 90% of the time. You get an abscess, you get a disease, and you wonder why your cat died, because that's a bacterial infection. So birds, no, not on the plate, unless you're going for ostriches or something. I don't know.
All right, it's a question I have. So this is for Carla. So should you travel with treats and toys for do you put them in their crate before they go into the plane? Pig's ears.
Again, I wouldn't, in case they choke. Yeah, it's just not worth it. If you were traveling by car on a long road trip, for sure, because you're there and you can monitor them, but not if they're by themselves. No, I wouldn't recommend that.
Think human child. What would you do with your child if you could not see them, touch them, change it, or hear them cry? Because the dogs and cats will do, the ferrets, the birds, the donkeys, they'll all do it, whatever your animal is. They will all try to get help. That's the way it is. The world is built. It's like, okay, I can't do this. Where do I get help? I cry out and that type of stuff. Well, if you're not there and you get an animal that has passed away, we're all devastated for a lifetime. So what Carla is doing is so vital to say, how do we do this safely? Because traveling with our pets is a reality, because so many people, those are their family.
I just got an idea. I just want to throw this out there.
Please.
Traveling with your pets, okay? This could be completely insane, but I'm thinking to myself, you know how you can get those doggy monitors when you're not home, you go on your computer and you can see?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you do that, have the monitor, because there's Wi-Fi on most planes,
Not
and
in
then
the cabin, not in
not
the
down with the
luggage.
cargo.
They
Well,
use
maybe they-
walkie-talkies, I think, still. Carla, doesn't the crew still attach by walkie?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. But you're right. I have heard that you can get Wi-Fi on some flights. So perhaps that's an idea for the
Yeah,
future.
but in the cargo?
Well,
So I'm going to
it's
Shark
great.
Tank with it. Okay, that's it.
Yes,
I'm
it'd
taking
be
it to
great.
Shark
You
Tank.
do it. But you know what?
Yeah.
I want you to improve it. I want like the little cameras, because cameras now are the size of rice. Come on, I have seen those shows. And we could literally have carriers, because the carrier companies want to make more money. They need to start putting in something that it's an app. Come on, people.
Right.
I'm giving you all a trip because I'm not going to create it. You get an app. You have it on your phone. You can check on your pet, because pets get shipped. Breeders get shipped their pets when they have somebody who adopts far away. This application is out there for spies. Why can't we spy on our dogs and cats? Great.
Exactly.
We came up with
Yes, I think it's a great idea. Now, here's the thing. If you see something's happening with your pet, then there's nothing that you can do, because they're not going to let you go in the cargo section. So then you're tormented for the entire rest of the ride. So I don't know.
Let me give you the other side. You are absolutely right. You are tormented, and you're going to drive the entire plane crazy, because you're going to say something. At least we're going to say something, because our pets are our children. But you know what you also get to do? You get to document.
Yeah,
This
that's
is a
true.
world of cameras, and a phone has a camera. And how many times we're all old enough to have heard of animals 20 years ago when planes were much worse and traveling was much more difficult with animals. People were really just starting to take off in the 70s and 80s and do that. It wasn't as frowned upon by the time we get to the late 80s, because everybody still thought you were weird. But when you can document something, guess what the airline does? What everybody does? They fix the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
About it, because there's proof that they were liable.
Yep.
Money talks.
Yep.
Bringing awareness.
Million things out there that we can do so simply. So we get a carrier that has, little embedded cameras. Again, it's simple technology. Just nobody has bothered to say, you know what, it's going to take. And Carla, you and I know, and Jacalyn, I'm sure you can extrapolate. It's going to take somebody devastatingly to lose their beloved pet
in the public eye,
and they have technical skills, or they're in the field that can get them, and they create it because hardship, heartache has done everything about the way we do first. Because I'm a first responder, that's all of that. The way we now do chest compressions doesn't kill the first responder. Because the heart compressions we're doing, we're literally crippling the first responders. And now we have all kinds of support where we put a kite on, and it does more of the work. We just add a little pressure. This is easy to fix, and the airlines will fix it.
It's amazing.
I would pay more money to fly on that flight that had the camera.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've got 3 women in 3 different time zones who just came up with the solution, and we've got a bunch of people being paid a huge amount of money and boards of directors who can't come up with something that makes no sense to me. So
it doesn't, and it's and there's so many things that are waiting to be invented that we haven't even thought of. Can you imagine that we haven't even thought of? But this would save lives, and it would save, and that's where our community is going. We have enough humans. I promise you, we have enough humans, stupid or otherwise. But people are turning to animals because they don't judge. They accept us for us. I have this from firsthand knowledge. Is somebody asked me, well, what did he say? Because they could see I was laughing about something. And when people get to know me, they're like, what? Who's talking to you? That dog over there. and they said, well, what's up? And I said, somebody had asked the question, because I didn't pose the question. And he said, well, his owner must be terrible because he was just rough all over, just a rough looking guy. And we were on his ranch. So this was his place. So he wasn't homeless or anything. He should have been, but he wasn't because he looked like he did. And then they said, well, what is it? Is he any good with this dog? And I said, well, what's he like? And the dog said, he smells funny, but I like him. He had medical issues. He had heart issues. He drank beer like a fish. I mean, fish don't drink beer. I don't know why we keep saying that, but and he had, so he had medication for his whatever medical issues and that kind of stuff. But he was kind, and he loved the dog, and the dog loved him. And who cares? Animals don't care what you look like.
Yeah.
They don't care how much you make.
Right.
And they don't care how many trips you take them on them. Right now, they're not happy about all the trips we're taking on them.
Yeah.
But with what Carla's done, is she said, but we can do it healthy and together and safe. And you're doing all the research, so I'm glad, because I'm not doing it.
And if you're relocating overseas, some people just don't have the choice, like your daughter, for example, if she's coming back from Spain, she has no choice but to bring her dog. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And she just adopted a new cat. That's how I got this
wow.
one. Well, because she has no sight in line to safely come. And she has a husband, and now they have to get all his new paperwork, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
It's
and
endless.
It's endless. So that's why she adopted a new cat, because he's, of course, going, what? Wait, what? We don't need another pet. And she said, but look who raised her. And she's like, but I'm going to be here at least another year or two that, I haven't planned, and that kind of stuff. So luckily her career is fine because it's all online, and she can live wherever she wants.
Good.
But you and I know this, what you're doing, Carla, thank you. And that's the people I want on this show, and Dr. Jacalyn knows. We've been trying
if your daughter wants to have the cat not in the cargo hold, but with her, maybe she should travel to Paris and get Air France to LA or to New York, and then I think she can have the pet with her.
Okay, you message me, because I'll forget. But you message me, because that will be And then I'll put it on Facebook, and we'll really advertise, because what a good idea. That there's just
That
something,
is a great
go
idea.
to an airport that supports that kind of travel, and then money talks. People.
Or also the big ocean liners like the QE2 or Cunard, they also have pet kennels, but obviously you have to pay for that. But a friend of mine was thinking when she was moving back from New York to London to put her dog, because he was elderly and the doctor wouldn't sign off on his travel on a plane. So their thought was to ship him and travel on the ship and have a nice holiday as well at the same time.
See,
it's brilliant. Yeah,
that is brilliant.
That's really brilliant. Carla, while I have you on Spotlight, could you please share with our viewers and our listeners who can't read the banner, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you, and who should contact you?
Any person that loves pets and travel, please contact me. I'd love to hear from you. If you use Twitter, please private message me at Carla_Francis1, and on Instagram at Cat with 3 passports, and the website is www.pet-friendlyaccommodation.com.au.
And where can people purchase your books?
Amazon, Book Depository, all of the big Barnes & Noble, all of the big bookstores in the US and online.
Well, thank you so much for being here and for getting up so early. You can go back to sleep now. And I want our audience to know, whether you're watching or listening, when you hear about the fact that you can bring your pet on the plane and you can actually watch and monitor what they're doing from your seat, you remember that you heard it here first. The three of us came up with this October 22nd, 2021.
And we want a cut.
Yes, we do.
We own the idea. We're going to patent the name. I don't know the DRCA thing.
We'll come up with something, but
there's some initials there.
There are initials. So thank you again for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure, and you're welcome to come back on any of our shows.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I will, definitely. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Have a great, and by the way, it's the next day, so it's actually Saturday there.
We're Saturday, yeah. And thankfully, I asked my partner, because he lived in LA for a while, and I said, "Can you check this timing?" Because I was thinking it was yesterday, our Friday, and he said, "I'm so glad you asked me, because you would have missed it for sure." So, yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you for doing that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And make sure I get a picture of the book, and I'm gonna do a special post on this.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate
it. Got to spread the word.
Okay.
Thank you.
In the cages.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye. Aminah, she was fantastic. Thank you so much for inviting her to the program. I really think the information she shared is so relevant and pertinent. People are traveling all over the place. People are relocating all the time. So great guest. And I'm going to spotlight you and put your banner. How can people reach you? And what are you doing this weekend? I'll switch it up.
Wow. Well, let's see. Going swimming. No. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. I've had a heck of a week, so I think I might just, I don't know, sit down and watch a movie for once. Just been a crazy week. But thank you, everybody. Aminah, of course, Bridging Worlds is literally not just the title of my company, but what I do. I try to talk to you and let you know how to bridge animal world to your world. And I talk a lot about source. You heard it today. Animals that are carnivores should be treated the way that God intended them to behave. If you're going to feed flies to your dogs and cats, I don't think it'll work, but it will for the frogs and the snakes and all that type of stuff. So it is about being genuine, and animals have so much love to give, and they're so vital to our lives. And I know every time I'm having a hard day, I'm coming in and sticking my face in the cat. And Dr. Jacalyn was the same way with her puppies. So I am here to answer those questions, help you with training. My gift is in animals that have passed also, and humans, but mostly I work with animals. I am a trainer. I worked in a vet clinic. I try to get a lot of Western medicine, teaching and education, along with what I already know God given. I've worked in a wildlife sanctuary, so I'm very pro nature and coexisting. Thanks everybody for joining us. Loved having you. Dr. Jacalyn, I'm thrilled to have you next Friday. And right now we are kind of in limbo for next Friday. But what I'd like to cover, so hopefully we'll do this because I had to reschedule, is that I want to talk about pets for gifts.
I like it.
Time to nip that in the butt.
I think that's a good topic, and it's perfect timing. And by the way, we have a new show coming out starting on Tuesday, which is Holiday Traditions.
Oh,
cool. Yeah, that's going to be at 8 a.m. Eastern time, which is 5 a.m. your time, Aminah. But we'll talk about holiday traditions, and then we'll come back.
6.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see at 5 a.m.
We should talk about is being safe with decorations, with especially cats. Dogs will just pee on your tree, but the cat will climb it.
Right, and that tinsel.
Barely, really, really bad. And you
dangerous.
Get a dead animal. It's so dangerous because it's metal. You don't think about it as that, but it is. And that kind of stuff. So yeah, we need to squeeze in some Christmas 411 and holiday and firecrackers again for New Year's. You're killing me, people. You're killing me. But yeah, I just want to help, because if you don't know, then you aren't able to make a change that's humane, and then tragedy happens. They run away, they get hit by a car, they get sick, they eat tinsel. Ooh, a lot of vet visits, and we can save some money. You just join us here. And again, when you call in and ask, these are generated from my clients and from my Facebook page that people are asking, and I'm seeing a trend. And of course, I've had pets my whole life.
Well, I look forward to seeing you next Friday, and that's a great subject for us.
Great. And I will get you the details.
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
I'll see you again. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Well, it's been an amazing week of broadcasting. I want to thank all of my co-hosts, and I want to thank my guests. We started 2 new shows this week. We've got another one next week. So it's usually between 18 and 20 shows a week. And I want to end this show with a personal request. For those of you who don't know, I have had an illness called ulcerative colitis since 1991. I never talked about it until 2018 when I met the president of the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. And since then, I'm doing everything I possibly can. I'm on the board. I'm an executive committee member. And we've got this event coming up, and this is where I'm going. We've got this amazing event. It's November the 13th. It's called Spin for Cures. It's in Philadelphia. Although you can participate virtually, it doesn't matter where in the world you are. Here is what it looks like: Spin for Crohn's and Colitis Cures. So I've got a team. It's called Dr. J's Colitis Crew, and we are very close to raising $10,000. I think we're a few $100s away, and our goal is $15,000. So if you like to spin, if you have a spinning bike, or if you can go somewhere where you can spin, you can join our team and you can help make a difference. So we are finding cures and bringing awareness to ulcerative colitis and patients with Crohn's disease. I mentioned I've had since 1991. I'm usually sick 3 to 6 months every year, and it's not pretty. It's called the dreaded bathroom disease, and it's very painful. And I run a support group, and people are as young as 7, 13 being diagnosed. I had 3 new people reach out this month. They were recently diagnosed. So again, if you're interested, you can go over to my website, drjacalyn.com, and you can actually contact me there, or you can email me if you would like to be on the team. Just get on a bike and ride, and you can be joining us virtually. Or if you are in the local area, you can also join us in person at the Rivers Casino. There's my email address, Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com. Thank you again for being here. And thank you to Aminah. And thank you to Carla. I wish you a beautiful, pleasant weekend. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you. We'll be back again on Wednesday. Take care.